Top of the morning, Townsend Harris. We hope you're all enjoying this year's election simulation. I'm sure you've met all our wonderful candidates, but in today's video, we'll be focusing on special interest groups. What's a special interest group, you may ask? An interest group is a group of people that seek to influence public policy on the basis of particular common interest or concern.
But why should we care about the special interest groups? While the interest groups serve as an important connection between the electorate and the candidates, interest groups represent issues that are important to the public and to the candidates' campaigns. They do a variety of things, but let's list off a few. First, the groups organize people to take action on the issues that are important to you by voting. Second, they endorse candidates that support common interests and concerns of the people. Third, the interest groups make information about their policies accessible to the public.
Interest groups come in all different shapes and sizes. There are interest groups that represent very specific issues, while other interest groups represent large political organizations. Special interest groups represent social causes, economic and corporate interests, or religious and ideological interest.
Clearly, interest groups are important, and even though you won't cast a ballot for them on election day, it is important to be educated on who they are and where they stand.
Without further ado, let's see which interest group will be meeting first. Up first, we have Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter was founded in 2013 in response to the release of Trayvon Martin's murderer. Since then, we have been advocating for Black rights, ensuring that our voices will be heard, and insisting on punishment for those who clearly don't value our lives. Our mission is to eradicate white supremacy and build up local power to intervene in violence inflicted on Black communities by the state and other vigilantes.
Statistically speaking, Black people have been 28% of those killed by police in 2020, despite being only 13% of the population. Also, 98.3% of killings by police from 2013 to 2020 have not resulted in officers being charged with the crime.
We've seen progress as recently as this summer, where in June, the Democrats in Congress introduced the Justice and Policing Act of 2020, and on June 16th, President Donald Trump signed the executive order on safe policing for safe communities. There have also been at least 36 Confederate monuments that have been removed or relocated in the U.S.
Currently, the United States spends $100 billion in policing. We believe in defunding the police, which means reallocating these funds from law enforcement into things like education, housing, mental health services, long-term solutions that will actually help lift up Black communities.
Now we have the Democratic National Committee.
We are the DNC.
We were disappointed by President Trump's horrific leadership in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Democrats will save lives by fighting this pandemic seriously, making all testing, treatment, and eventual vaccines free to everyone. Saving lives is not political.
We won't let our home be destroyed by the careless actions of our current leader. Instead, we want to protect America's natural resources and maintain a high quality of air, water, and land for current and future generations.
People shouldn't live in fear. While we respect the rights of responsible gun owners, too many politicians have accepted that gun violence is just a part of American life. Democrats will put forth policies that will prevent gun violence and protect Americans.
We will not just stand by and watch families be torn apart. We will work to improve our border security, prioritize enforcement, keeping families together, and strengthening our economy. Democrats will help immigrants receive a status that allows them to work, study, and contribute to the community.
We will not let the Republican Party undermine Roe v. Wade or a woman's right to choose regardless of ability to pay. We support the funding of stem cell research and family life education.
As our nation continues to be plagued by injustices based on race, creed, and religion, we make it our mission to set consequences to those who enable bigotry, allowing for a better, brighter, and fairer America.
Okay. Up first, we have the National Association for the Repeal of Abortion Laws.
We are NARAL,
the National Association for the Repeal of Abortion Laws.
We are 2.5 million members who fight for the reproductive freedom of all people.
We are dedicated to fighting to expand access to abortion,
increasing the affordability of birth control,
fighting pregnancy discrimination in the workplace, and protecting paid family leave.
Today, women's rights are at risk. With the likely lifetime appointment of Judge Amy Coney Barrett, access to safe and legal abortion is under threat, and Roe v. Wade is set to be overturned.
Roe v. Wade was a landmark decision made by the Supreme Court in 1973, ruling that access to safe and legal abortion is a fundamental right under the 14th Amendment.
Today, we have a choice. We can either sit idly by and let women's reproductive rights be taken away from us, or we can stand up and vote for Democrats who will work to prevent the reversal of almost 50 years of hard work.
Just think about this. In 1965, before abortion was legal, 17% of all pregnancy-related deaths were caused by illegal abortions carried out in dangerous and risky conditions because women had no safe options.
We cannot afford to go backwards. Lives and rights are at risk. We will never stop fighting to protect and expand this fundamental human right. Join us in this fight by voting Democrat on Election Day.
Now we have the Human Rights Campaign.
We are the Human Rights Campaign Foundation, which was founded in 1980 by Steve and Dean to support pro-fairness congressional candidates. In 1995, we expanded our mission to end discrimination against the LGBTQ community and achieve equality for all. We work locally, nationally, and globally on issues that affect the LGBTQ community, and we work with every branch of the federal government to ensure their issues receive the attention they deserve. We've also fought for justice for those who have experienced hate crimes, which led to the Hate Crimes Prevention Act being signed into law by Barack Obama in 2009.
In the future, we want to create a world where members of the LGBTQ can feel safe and have the same rights as everyone else without feeling discriminated against, as well as being treated as a part of society without being judged by their sexual preferences and lifestyle choices. Currently, rights in favor of the LGBTQ community are at risk of being eliminated, such as same-sex marriage and the Equality Act.
Furthermore, in Texas state, protections for LGBTQ Americans have been eliminated. Now social workers are allowed to deny assisting LGBTQ Americans without getting punished. Everyday members of the LGBTQ community are being discriminated against and mentally abused. However, news outlets rarely display these stories. Our fight for equality is not over. There still needs work to be done in order to achieve a better world. It is essential that the injustices in our society are acknowledged and that we do our best to resolve them. In order to create a better world, we need your help to elect the right candidates to defend LGBTQ rights and put an end to hatred and discrimination in our society. So remember, on Election Day, vote for pro-equality elected officials.
Next up is the American Medical Association.
We are the AMA.
In the United States of America, there exists a substantial issue with our healthcare system. The COVID-19 pandemic has exposed this through leaving many Americans without access to healthcare or are covered by a plan that is rapidly exceeding their means of pay. In addition, our country's population has been thoroughly terrorized and damaged as millions have become infected and hundreds of thousands have passed away.
We've invested in the enhancement and upkeep of the Affordable Care Act, the policy that has successfully introduced a strong multi-payer system in this country. It is clear that the ACA has set forth essential benchmarks in American healthcare, such as protecting minorities, just like it does in Section 1557.
However, lower-income families that cannot afford private insurance should still be provided with a public option through Medicaid, ensuring that all Americans are insured. As such, we support an expansion of Medicaid to ensure that the Medicaid gap is closed and the program remains in strong standing.
Furthermore, the AMA has been disappointed with Congress and the President's failure to pass an extension of the CARES Act, which saw $2.2 trillion pumped into our nation's economy to lessen the economic burden of the pandemic. It is despicable that the President has been indicating that another round of economic stimulus will come after the election, as it is clear that not all Americans have the luxury of time.
We stand with the Biden-Harris team and Max Rose, candidates who both stand with our policy.
The National Immigration Forum.
We're the National Immigration Forum.
Our first focus is on immigration reform and workforce needs. We do so by shaping the policies necessary to make our immigration system serve the national interest, meeting the needs of our economy, workers, and family.
Our second focus is on integration and citizenship. We aim to create the opportunities necessary for immigrants to succeed and contribute to the growth and prosperity of America. We value diverse workforces and take notice of the values of immigrants so that we can achieve the goals and the aspirations of these workers and their families.
Our third focus is on borders and interior enforcement. Since Donald Trump has been elected, there have been many problems regarding the immigration system due to federal agencies such as ICE. ICE treats the people under their custody in many inhumane ways, including making infants sleep on the floor with no blankets, and they are stripped away from their parents. We work to develop fiscally responsible and humane policies that protect America and promote commerce while respecting the rights of workers and employers, families, and communities.
Our fourth focus is on state and local immigration developments. We aim to promote the principle that immigration law and enforcement are federal responsibilities. Ultimately, we seek to bridge policy and politics to create the solutions necessary for our country and all its residents to prosper. We believe that deporting those from other countries who come to America for better opportunities, for not only themselves but for their families, is not necessary. We in the National Immigration Forum strive to make this country a home for its people.
Up next, we have the National Rifle Association.
Hi, citizens of America. We are the NRA. Our mission is to ensure that every single U.S. citizen has the ability to exercise their right to bear arms. We believe in the constitutional right of the Second Amendment, and we also want to promote gun safety by hosting various workshops and programs so citizens know how to properly defend themselves. Our four main focuses are firearms safety, firearms education, marksmanship skills, and protecting the Second Amendment. The violent crime rate has decreased 52% from the 1991 all-time high. During this time of decreased crime rates, Americans have acquired more than 215 million new firearms, doubling the number of privately owned firearms in the United States. The candidates that we support are John Cummings, Donald Trump, and Mike Pence. As Donald Trump said perfectly in an interview, if the Democrats get in, they are going to take your guns away. If you are a woman or anybody and a criminal breaks into your home, they will still have a gun, an illegal gun, but you won't. So remember, on Election Day, vote red.
Now we have the National Alliance to End Homelessness.
We are the National Alliance to End Homelessness, and we're here to discuss racial inequality in relation to homelessness. In the US, most minority groups experience homelessness at higher rates than white people do. African Americans make up 40% of the homeless population, despite only making up 13% of the overall general population.
This results from systemic racism in the United States, leading to healthcare, poverty, criminal justice, and ultimately housing disparities in our society. Rental housing discrimination is prevalent in barriers created to prevent African Americans from moving into higher class neighborhoods, shown in less rental units, higher rents, and denied leases.
Incarceration rates are much higher for Black Americans, and more than 6 times than that of white Americans, and many people of color often lack proper health insurance. Combined with COVID-19 and climate change, POC neighborhoods are much more at risk of serious illness compared to white neighborhoods due to the lack of stable and affordable housing, having vulnerable physical conditions.
In 2018, the National Alliance to End Homelessness developed a racial equity network connecting local and state leaders to encourage engagement about the finest practices, methods of data collection, and solutions at a system level. Through the RAD, the Alliance has moved forward in leveraging its conferences to highlight the problem of racial inequality.
At the 2018 National Conference on Ending Homelessness, we conducted a 3-part series on racial disparities. We received a huge response, and many of our attendees have developed a firm commitment to helping our partners create solutions to address racial disparities in the homeless system. The National Alliance to End Homelessness will continue its efforts in fighting systemic racism until affordable housing is readily available to all, regardless of race.
Up next, we have Planned Parenthood.
Although you may think Planned Parenthood is simply an abortion clinic, it provides so many different services, and it provides essential and reproductive health care to all Americans despite race, ethnicity, gender.
These are the services that Planned Parenthood provides, and it includes abortion and pregnancy, birth control, general health care for men and women, patient education, and more.
Yet despite these incredible services we've been providing for 97 years, we are under fire in this election. President Trump has curtailed federal family planning dollars from Planned Parenthood and has forced us out of Title X. He has also stated that he would support a complete ban of abortion in the country, with very few exceptions. With the new Supreme Court Justice nominee Amy Barrett, women's rights are in danger. With her pro-life and conservative views, the landmark decision Roe v. Wade is in danger of being overturned. We cannot allow.
If the historic ruling is overturned, women will have to turn things into their own hands. They wouldn't have control over their own body. Cutting Planned Parenthood will disproportionately affect both men and women, being that more than half of Planned Parenthood services are located in rural and underrepresented communities, which are given at free or at low cost. Support people who support Planned Parenthood. Joe Biden, AOC, Max Rose, and Donovan Richards. Vote blue. Remember, Planned Parenthood is healthcare. Follow us on Instagram, THHS Planned Parenthood. Now we have the Republican National Committee.
We are a committee for the pursuit of for the great nation states of America.
Biggest topics that I feel is the economy, COVID. We are its #1 priority, safety of the American people. Trump has saved thousands, taking the initiative with China. It's also provided stimulus. Millions of Americans is aware of this people. The US currently has the world's lead, and we are on our way to effective vaccine. We believe reopening is our economy. But people are smart decisions in keeping them. We believe in deregulating all businesses. The for many Americans, and deregulation means that people choose how to eat. We believe in it. We favor tax cuts on incomes, so it's possible. Was a disaster. The American people first. Instead, we're bringing more affordable options. You can enjoy lower cost services via patient. The review your health and super country and free. So on election day, to keep America.
Now we have the national right to life.
We are the national right to life, and we fight to protect the most innocent and vulnerable members of our society, the fetus. They are living beings who are undeserving of the violence against them, and for that reason, we fight for their right to live by fighting to protect them from the cruel acts of abortion, infanticide, assisted suicide, and euthanasia.
We are the country's largest and oldest pro-life organization, consisting of more than 3,000 local chapters nationwide. Through our many outreach programs, we strive to educate individuals about the immorality of abortion, so that they too can continue to fight for our mission in their local communities.
Our biggest priority as a national right to life is to ban partial birth abortions. Partial birth abortions are a horrific procedure in which the doctor delivers a baby up until the head and then uses scissors and a suction tube to remove the brain tissue. This act of murder is unjustly considered legal since they are only partially born.
Additionally, we're also working to defund Planned Parenthood, who claim that increased funding will enable them to reduce the number of abortions. Yet, the reports show their annual income to be $1.2 billion, one-third of which comes from the government. And despite increased funding, abortions have actually increased.
We will not stand by and let the children be murdered. For this reason, we proudly support President Trump in this year's election as he promises to fill the judiciary branch and appoint officials who will fight vigorously to make abortion unconstitutional again. With Trump's re-election, we will be one step forward to a more civilized society.
Be their voice by voting pro-life this election day.
Last but not least, we have an Environmental Defense Fund.
This is the Environmental Defense Fund here. We find the ways that work, and we're about to let you know how we do that. More than 50 years ago, we were just a scrappy group of scientists and a lawyer. And now, together, we're creating lasting solutions to our biggest environmental challenges. Not only are we stabilizing the climate to secure a healthy future, but we're rebuilding better for a cleaner, more equitable economy. And we're making communities more resilient to climate change.
The climate crisis is a prevalent issue everywhere around the world. It is a global threat that is happening right before our eyes. With the rise of temperature comes natural disasters, weather extremes, food and water insecurity, and environmental destruction. The effects can already be seen. Droughts and heat waves have affected agriculture, powerful hurricanes have hit the earth, ecosystems have been compromised, and wildfires that are uncontrollable have damaged our homes. What's causing these harmful changes? It's mainly us. Humans have continued to damage the environment, causing global warming.
As a nonpartisan climate group, the Environmental Defense Fund conducts research on the climate crisis and advocates for policies that make sense. This includes providing incentives to lower emissions and taking a free market approach to stopping climate change. By making it cheap and easy for consumers and businesses to make the right choices for the environment, we will help stop the climate crisis in its tracks.
Although the EDF will do everything to find a solution to this issue, we can't fight climate change alone. This is a battle that everyone needs to take part in. It may seem pointless in an issue as big as the world, but a combined action will make a very big impact. To take your stand, make sure to vote in the upcoming election and support the candidates that work for solutions and change. Check out our website and Instagram for more information and donate to the EDF to help spread awareness. We fight for you and your future.